top stories. Amid the tense and prolonged lockdown in Cameroon's two English-speaking regions, presidential candidate Gabriel Libi of Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation defied the odds on Thursday, that is today, launching his campaign in Bamenda in the northwest region. Navigating through eerily deserted streets, Libi made a symbolic drive across the city to witness firsthand the severity of the crisis before addressing a modest but resolute crowd at the grandstand on Commercial Avenue in the heart of downtown Bamenda. And as Cameroon's presidential race gathers momentum, the National Communication Council has expressed concern over the uneven media coverage afforded to the 12 presidential candidates. Speaking at a press briefing today, the NCC President George Bonken Kalabose criticized certain print outlets for disproportionately favoring the against flouting the prescribed structure for campaign propaganda, cautioning that non-compliance could attract sanctions. And following the decision by Public Health Minister ordering the immediate withdrawal of Nestle Nido sachets from sale and consumption in Cameroon, citing precautionary safety concerns, the newsroom these days seeks to know from sellers, their consumers, if they are aware of the September 30 deadline and their appreciation of the instant preventive measures. Those who are top stories, stay on for developments. You are listening to this story from Bamenda in the northwest region of Cameroon, where the presidential candidate for the Cameroon Party for National Reconciliation, PCRN, says if need be, he will relocate the Itudi presidential palace to any town in the English-speaking region of Cameroon for the sake of solving the political crisis rocking the northwest and southwest regions, because peace has to reign in the entire national territory. The aspirant is so far the only candidate to have braved the ongoing separatist-imposed lockdown to mobilize bike riders to parade the streets of Bamenda on lockdown day. As concerns the form of state, the PCRN is proposing a community federation as a solution to the developmental challenges of Cameroon. Garida made a triumphal return to the DP party, and the presidential candidate was received with great fanfare upon his arrival in the north region of the country. Militants and sympathizers of the party through the city alongside their candidates with motorcycle were hunting to receive him. Let's have more with Morindi.
Just before midday, the green wave of UNDP supporters flooded the Garoua airport grounds, ready to welcome their leader with pomp and jubilation. Bello Buba Maigari touched down amid cheers and massive show of solidarity, underscoring the party's mobilization strength in the region.
Une foule formidable, enthousiaste, qui est bloquée partout dans la ville de Garoua. Aujourd'hui, en un mot comme en mille, c'est l'arrivée du président national Bello Buba Maigari, candidat.
Backed in his home division, Bello Buba Maigari seeks to assert his roots and send a clear signal to other contenders. The crowd's fervor bore witness to this intention. Motorcycles and cars forms a grand motorcade with over 2,000 militants and sympathizers reaffirming their allegiance to their candidates.
Notre pays a besoin de changement. Et ce que j'ai vu aujourd'hui, c'est un accueil pour le changement dans notre pays.
Now backed by the support of two other presidential hopefuls, Bello Buba Maigari plans to continue his campaign with a stop in the Far North region next.
And still in campaign news, this time around with the FSNC party is stepping up its campaign efforts in Garoua. Still in Garoua, militants are taking to the street to rally support for their candidate Issa Chiruma Bakari through door-to-door outreach and voter education. Morindi once again.
As the race for Cameroon's highest office heats up, the Front for National Salvation of Cameroon has launched an intensive grassroots campaign in Garoua aimed at securing strong support for its presidential candidate, Issa Chiroma Bakari. With just days to go before the October 12 vote, party militants are actively engaging with the population in markets, neighborhoods and public spaces across the North region. For many young FSNC supporters, Issa Chiroma is seen as a serious contender among the list of candidates vying for the presidency. During a recent rally held in Yagua, the candidate himself reminded the public of his experience, his political vision, and his commitment to national development, describing himself as the true alternative to the current political system.
C'est la jeunesse qui nous a appelés à faire une marche. C'est une mobilisation pour appeler les jeunes à voter massivement notre président Issa Chiroma Bakari.
The campaign in Garoua is focused on proximity outreach, an approach that brings the message directly to the people. Party activists are not only explaining the FSNC platform, but also educating voters on how to correctly identify and use the FSNC's yellow ballot paper, which bears the name of Issa Chiroma Bakari.
Les jeunes de Garoua et de la population du Nord en général ont leur carte d'électeur.
Posters, flyers, and sample ballots are being distributed widely, with campaign teams demonstrating how to fold and insert the ballot properly into the box to avoid rejected votes. The FSNC believes this form of civic education will reduce errors and maximize valid votes in their favor. As the campaign intensifies, the FSNC has vowed to continue its descent into the field, visiting more towns. Bakari, vote for a new era of leadership. The party's mobilization strategy in the north is being closely watched as the region holds significant weight in voter turnouts. For FSNC supporters, October 12.
FSNC!
And now we talk about the Social Democratic Front Party, the SDF. Its presidential candidate, Joshua Osih, was in Obala in the Lekki division of the Center region of Cameroon. There he laid a bold vision for local industrialization and the transformation of cocoa in that division that will create jobs for young people. Let's have the details in this report. Obala came alive as the presidential hopeful Joshua Osih took to his campaign deep into the hearts of the Lekki division. Despite the late hour, a sea of supporters greeted the candidate with motorbike convoys, traditional dances, and placards waving high in the air in an impassionate address. A community deeply affected by crisis, a priority for action.
Farmers here, after 1 year of work, receive between 2,000 and 3,000 CFA per kilogram, whereas this cocoa is sent up to a country like Switzerland, where after 1 hour of transformation, the same kilogram is now worth about 25,000 CFA.
The cornerstone of his message was a bold economic vision, the industrialization and local processing of cocoa as Lekki's primary crop. Cocoa represents untapped potential not just for export but for value creation at home.
As President of the Republic, I want all what we produce to be transformed locally, and it's only through that industrialization that we'll be able to keep or to produce or provide jobs for our youth in Cameroon. A place like the Lekki division should have about 4, 5, 6, 7 factories transforming cocoa, and why not producing one of the best chocolates in the world and one of the best cocoa butter in the world.
The proposal struck a chord in Obala, where many young people face limited prospects by advocating for local factories, skill training and investment in agro-industrial zones. The SDF presidential candidate, Joshua Osih, positioned himself as a leader ready to tackle the root causes of economic stagnation. And we have the National Communication Council that has frowned at some media organs that are covering elections unfairly during this campaign period. The NCNC President Joe Chebonkeng Kalabo says that the print media have decided to offer their front pages to the ruling CPDM party and warned that TV programs that will not respect the propaganda for the election campaign will be sanctioned. Let's have the details with Haisen Shia.
With the official campaign for the October 12th presidential election on day 6, this October 2nd, the National Communication Council says that most publishers of the print media are not fair with their publications on all candidates, especially with front page spaces.
As an example, out of a sample of 30 newspapers published on Monday, the 29th of September 2025, all exclusively dedicated their front page to the activities of the CPDM. Furthermore, in their columns, most of these print media organs provided unbalanced coverage of information relating to the various candidates, thus showing a lack of consideration for the principle of equality.
Joseph Chebonkeng frowns at some TV channels that do not respect the principles of propaganda programs.
Info TV included a civil society representatives alongside political party representatives in a campaign program entitled Echo de Campagne, broadcast on the 29th of September 2025. Camdis TV featured civil society representatives in a program called Jour de Campagne, which has been airing since the 28th of September 2025. The Council urges the channel's managers to immediately cease this practice and only allow candidates or their representatives to speak. These non-exhaustive examples serve as an opportunity for the National Communication Council to call upon all public and private media broadcasts across the national territory to demonstrate great professionalism and responsibility. This is vital for ensuring calm and objective media coverage of the presidential election campaigns.
While focusing on the media, the National Communication Council also points out unacceptable behaviors on the part of the population during this campaign period.
The Council has been made aware of vandalism targeting the campaign posters of some candidates and appeals for mutual tolerance on the part of the public and the Cameroonians electorate as a whole.
In the press briefing, the Council sends warning signals to social media influencers spreading hate speech and instigating intertribal confrontations.
And this time around, let's talk other issues apart from elections campaign. Following the decision by Public Health Minister to withdraw Nestle needle sachets from sales in markets and newsroom, is interested in knowing from sellers and consumers if they appreciate the decision that have been taken so far by the minister. Beatrice Gamo talked to some of them in the nation's political capital and put together this report.
The decision follows ongoing investigation into the quality and composition of the popular powder milk brand. At this shop, owner is very aware of the recent decision. He made it clear at their level, don't even sell the sachet milk because the demand is not there. Parents no longer go for them.
Les parents ne demandent même pas parce que vous savez, la gamme Nido est tellement vaste dont les parents demandent plus les anciens produits de Nido.
Like him, this other parent said she had long changed the powder milk choice when she realized some changes in the taste and it was no longer creamy as before.
Parce que la texture de Nido avait changé. On avait plus ce côté crémeux, on avait plus le côté huileux. Donc du coup, moi, je suis allée vers une autre marque.
Though officials have not confirmed the exact nature of the risk, the withdrawal is described as a preventive measure aimed at protecting public health, saluted by those protecting rights of consumers.
We noted the press release of the Minister of Public Health, who informed the consumer that they are so worried with some brands of Nestle Cameroon. And the minister asked us to stop consuming the project who are concerning.
Consumers are advised not to use any sachet packaged Nido milk, especially the chocolate mix brand, until further notice.
That is why it's necessary to give more information, a good information for the consumer.
Nestlé this far is still to issue an official statement on the decision. A coordinated food safety security, the appeal of consumers' defendants. Public Health Minister's release, signed last September 30th, also called on the population to report suspected adverse effects after consumption, such as digestive disorder, usual reactions, to the nearest health facility.
Thank you so much, Beatrice Ngamo. And governments and partners institutions of the Armed Trade Treaty have officially adopted a report manual that will guide the follow-up and implementation of the treaty in regards to demand and supply. And members of the 5 main institutions involved in the treaty were at the conclave at the Ministry of External Relations, where the importance of the applicability of the manual was highlighted. We have Ate Bonaventure that was at that meeting and brought together this report.
The National Procedures Manual on Arms Trade Treaty Annual Reporting is a working document that guides the follow-up and implementation of the International Arms Trade Treaty, which Cameroon has already ratified.
The manual unveiled today has been designed in keeping with this principle. Henceforth, this manual provides as clear and operational framework of the collection, analysis and transmission of data required for drafting report under the ATT, as well as other legal instruments covering conventional arms.
5 government institutions are involved in the implementation, and the manual seeks to reinforce the capacity of stakeholders in the monitoring and reporting procedures.
It is the culmination of the project funded by the 8th cycle of the ATT and the support provided by the Stockholm, as we said, at the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute.
The reporting procedure entails giving details and statistics on the quality and quantity of arms imported or exported annually, including context, challenges, and new perspectives.
Wrap up this edition of the 6:15 Primetime Newscast in the English language on Canada International. It is a pleasure knowing you are watching Bedongwewe, because we have other editions of the news. We shall be yours again tomorrow, same time, God willing. But up next is electoral, election campaign and news that you will have with Lel Pijo.